All right, so now I'm going to bring on my guest, and let me make sure I have the format right here for StreamYard. Yeah,
Oh,
what's up, Justin?
oh, not much. Just enjoying my evening, enjoying being part of your show, learning some
Awesome.
wacky tobacky things about California.
Yeah, you're our Canada to the north, right? I think you're in Oregon.
Yeah, that's like a California poser that follows California's lead, basically.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, led by Portland. But to introduce you to the audience here, you have your own channel also here on Rumble. And
Yes,
you're
I
not a
do.
stranger to my show. That's for sure because you've been on my program before. But this is the first time we're doing it together on a Rumble exclusive live stream. So tell everybody your channel, what it's about, and where they can follow you.
Well, since this is a Rumble exclusive stream, I guess the only pertinent channel to mention is that I am on Rumble, just like Andreas is. And I primarily cover, well, a small, diverse set of topics. I cover religion, Christian apologetics, which goes into a lot of young versus old Earth creationism, young Earth creationism versus atheistic evolution. But I also cover tech news, tech censorship, alt tech news. I also cover occasionally like books or other forms of media that are of interest to me and potentially to my audience. And uh, I didn't do much of live streaming on a consistent basis until recently when Rumble live streaming became stupid easy. And I realized, I can reach just as many or more people on here than I could on YouTube.
Exactly. Right. So I'm glad you started doing that. You actually started doing, I think you call it God TV radio.
Yeah, that's actually Brett Keene's podcast, but he allowed me to be a co host and use the
Mm,
branding. And so I try to do one of those every other week. And then every other week between those is the TTOR show. I try to stream every week when I can. That'll be on
gotcha.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Rumble's the best place to watch those because that and Twitter currently are my go to streaming locations.
Awesome. Okay, great. And it's your coverage of you don't just talk about big tech censorship. Um, that's what brought us on together for the first time. Man, was it like a year ago, maybe, when we talked about all these, I guess, tech, some of the tech platforms, some of the ones that you and I share, and also the behavior, some of the
Mhm.
censorship and content moderation on these platforms, everywhere from Gab to Twitter to YouTube and all that. But that's what brought us together. But I tune into your show a lot because of your apologetics. Because in a way, I am partly an apologetic in what I do, what I used to do when I do my circuit preaching, and I was brought on sometimes to participate in some discussions, and then some private debates where we're weighing. I shouldn't go into any more detail in case some of these individuals are tuning in, but the thing is, that's in a way apologetics. But some people say you cannot be saved through apologetics. And while I agree with the sentiment, I also believe there's a healthy place for healthy debate. And isn't that what the apostles did? So that's something that I think we have a kinship in that. But when I say that you don't just talk about the big tech censorship, it's because you actually built some of these platforms, right?
Yeah. In December of 2021, I started Creation Social, which was a Facebook/Gab alternative that's still up and going. And then in May of 2022, I started Quarter, which is an open source alt tech alternative to YouTube. Has a lot of the same features. Live streaming's hit or miss because technical stuff happens behind the scenes, but
Mm,
everything else about the site is good right now. Is really
good.
good. Full HD video uploads. You got the public playlist, comment sections like Rumble, pretty easy and straightforward to use, and a lot of other neat little features that make it an interesting platform from a feature technical perspective.
Right on. Okay. And yeah, I'm on corridor too. I actually have had some issues trying to upload some of my videos as of late, so that's why I haven't posted one that's more recent. But
Yeah,
hopefully,
I
once
can
that,
help. Yeah, I can help
huh?
you with that after the show. There's other people that have had the same problem.
Okay, yeah, because once we get that cleared, I'll be able to move some other my more recent episodes to put them up there. Yeah, okay, that's great. So you probably heard a little bit about I was covering that my first affiliate partner for the show. was
Mhm.
suspended from Twitter, but that wasn't the only one. So I pull up the list here. He was suspended from LinkedIn at right after making it. So it's like he added me. I was his first ad because he added me. I think it was on Thursday. So when I saw what looked like an invitation, I opened the email. I tried to add him, but nothing kept pulling up on the app. So I went to the web browser on my station. When I got to the office, I tried pulling something up, and nothing pulled up. So then I started texting him, like, "Hey, did you send me something on LinkedIn? Hopefully, I wasn't part of a phishing scheme." He's like, "No, no, I created LinkedIn. I found you and I added you." So then I'm like, "Well, I can't find you." So he sent me his profile link, and I told him it won't open. He said, "That's funny. I can see you. I can open my link. I can see my profile." And that's how I was in the first, I would say, half hour. The next day I followed up and said, "Hey, I still can't find you." And then he posted on his socials that he got suspended from LinkedIn. It looks like a perma ban on Twitter. He was also suspended from using Facebook and Instagram Business Suite, so he can't run ads or schedule any posts. He can only use it as an account like a read only. He was suspended from Microsoft Ads, Bing Search Ads, which is Microsoft, and business listings. He was also suspended from Google Ads and merchants accounts, a Pinterest business suite, and Wikipedia. So I asked him before coming on the program today, is like, "Hey, can you confirm to me, does this all happen at the same time?" That's very suspicious because I know LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. And he confirmed to me that the Microsoft, Bing, and the business listing was all done at the same time. On another occasion, it was the Google ad and merchants one, and Pinterest and Wikipedia on another occasion. Like, holy smokes, this is a small business. Been in operation since 2018. First started advertising himself on Gab and started reaching out to other platforms to try to get to a wider audience. But how do small businesses, how could they grow when this happens? And I think that's entirely unfair. I don't know. That's why I asked them, did they ban or perma ban you all at the same time? Because then that would scream targeted. Some yes, others no. So it's like whatever it might have been. I hope he appeals them. He won with LinkedIn, which is Microsoft. So I'm hoping he's able to win an appeal with the other Microsoft products. But this is the stuff that happens. It can make or break a company, but at least his fallback and his number one client base is located in Gap. And I just think that's pretty crazy because
Mhm.
you've also been touching on several videos actually.
Mhm.
You're going to have to walk us through this one because I have not had time to look at any of that because I was preparing for my streams here and also finishing some other projects behind the scenes.
Right.
But can you walk us through what you've been covering on your show with someone trying to quite literally attempt to ban somebody entirely from the internet?
Right. Yeah. You and I are both familiar with cancel culture. And I guess before I get into the specific instance you're referring to, there is a difference between boycotting something and cancel culture. In the case of boycotting something, someone like, say, Target, for example, says some weird, wacky things supporting the rainbow people, and
Mhm.
you and all your friends don't like them. And so you say, you know what? We're never going to buy from them again. In that case, Target still exists. They're still open for business. They're still able to do everything they want to do. They just don't get your friends' sales.
Yeah.
But cancel culture is something entirely different. It's well, my friend's example is perfect, but in the general, cancel culture is someone like you or me tends to be someone who's more Christian or conservative minded or libertarian, or at the very least doesn't go along with the woke globalist narratives on anything. And someone comes across them, or a couple someones come across them and go, you know what? I don't like you and how you express yourself on the internet. So I'm going to false flag you all across big tech platforms. And I'm going to do
Mm.
everything I can to get you financially to platforms so that you cannot continue to do what I don't like, which is exist on the internet saying things I don't like. And in the case of my friend Tom, who is well, he has multiple YouTube channels. His Christian channels are Walk in Christ, but his most popular channel is called Switch to Linux, which has, I think, roughly 65,000 subs. It's one of the OG
Wow.
channels in the YouTube Linux community. And about 85% of the time on the channel, he's just telling people how to use different open source softwares that are either related to Linux or are Linux products or are like adjacent to Linux, like
Mhm.
they're similar kinds of software, even though they're not Linux. And so this person is trying to get him canceled from the entire internet. This person, of course, is the YouTuber called Traffiton, who's part of that same community. But his reasoning for why he wants to get him canceled from the entire internet is because Tom dared to commit the thought crime of being a publicly outspoken Christian who doesn't go along with the rainbow people, and he
Mm,
doesn't promote taking the COVID jabs or wearing the face masks. And
mm,
because of these couple of things, he has to be canceled from the entire internet. Of course, the funny part about his attempt to cancel Tom, if you watch the last video I did, especially, is that he claimed that Tom's Christianity was the source of all of his problems, his bigotry against the rainbow people and all the stuff that he's criticizing him for. And that because of this, he needs to be canceled from the entire internet and forced to go to therapy and
mm.
basically has to come back to the real world. But then, literally, by the end of his little hit piece, he turns around to Tom and says, "You're not being suppressed because of your views. It's because you're such a broken human being." It's like, wait a
Wow,
minute. You're literally calling for him to be suppressed on the internet because of his Christian views. And then you try and do a Jedi mind trick on him at the end. It's like, nah,
wow,
that's not what this is. You're totally not being suppressed for your views.
dude.
And this hit me harder than most cancel culture stories do because Tom is not just someone that I watch and have collaborated with many times in the past and all that fun stuff, but this guy's actually been right here in this house that I'm in. Like, this is
Mm,
someone I've actually met in the flesh, so I know what kind of person he is behind the scenes, which is the same person he is on camera. It's great. But yeah, that's the person being targeted by this YouTuber with 7,000 subscribers. It's like, wow, you you are one sad little person. Of course, if you watch my full video series, he tries to do other things to justify, the cancel culture thing of Tom on the internet. And a lot of it has to do with how he claimed that Tom was misrepresenting what the Bible says about sexual orientation, sexuality in general, and the rainbow people. But then he refused to address any of the passages in the Bible that actually talked about those topics, which
mhm.
disappointed me so much because I was like, hey, I thought you were going to talk about this stuff and show how Tom was misrepresenting that. But then when he put out his final version of his video a week or two ago, he added a little 7-second clip where he says all the Bible passages that address these matters, they no longer apply today. And then he moves on without
Mm.
addressing it any further. Like, really? You say the Bible doesn't say anything about these issues, but then you turn right around literally in the next breath and say, "Oh, actually, it does, but none of them apply." Like, what?
Well, has this individual met any success against your friend Tom?
No. He's gotten a lot of views on his video, a lot more views on his video than Tom has gotten on his short response video that he did on his YouTube channel.
Mhm.
But he's Tom's not losing subs. He's getting quite a few views on his response to the guy. And when you go to Tom's video talking about the guy and you read his comment section, none of Traffiton's fans are there. Everyone who's commenting there is one of Tom's viewers, and some of them are part of the rainbow crowd that Traffiton claims Tom is hurting so much. And they're like,
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know what this guy's on, but he's not doing any such thing to my community.